Tonight on Connecticut's news station, 4 people are dead after a fiery wrong-way crash. Everything we know so far.
We want to make sure that New Haven is a place that is safe for everyone.
Plus, improving pedestrian safety in the Elm City, how hundreds of thousands of dollars is improving roads and sidewalks for residents.
It's shocking. Everybody is just shocked. Yeah, it's a big loss to the town.
And the future of a beloved diner in danger tonight, but the community is rallying together to try to save the town staple from being forced to close.
Now at 6, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Bridget Bjorla. We begin with developing news out of Stratford tonight, where 4 people are dead after a wrong-way crash on Route 15.
Fox 61's Sarah Sanchez joining us now in the Breaking News Center with what we're learning about this crash. Sarah.
Well, the crash happened just before 2 this morning. State police got several reports of a wrong-way driver on the southbound side of the highway. Before police could respond, a Honda CR-V crashed head-on into a Chrysler Town & Country. The Honda then burst into flames. The driver and 2 passengers of the Chrysler died. They were identified as Stephen Rowland, Olga Vitale, and Thomas Vitale, all from Easton. The driver of the Honda, the one traveling the wrong way, also died. Their identity has not been released, pending an autopsy. Police say another crash happened when a car stopped to help the victims. Officers say the car parked in the left lane with no lights on. A state trooper didn't see it, so they hit it with their cruiser. No one was in that parked car at the time of that crash. The trooper has minor injuries. Police are still investigating the incident and will bring you updates on air and online as soon as we learn them. Brent, Bridget, back to you.
All right, Sarah, thank you. Windsor High School placed on lockdown for a period of time this morning as police investigated reports of a student with a gun in the building. Police say the 16-year-old student was quickly identified and found with a firearm. He was turned over to a parent and will appear in juvenile court. No one was injured during the incident. The lockdown was lifted after about 30 minutes.
A fraternity at the University of Connecticut suspended tonight. This amid an investigation into alleged assault during initiation. The Lambda Theta Phi fraternity is suspended effective immediately after its former president, David Vallejo, was arrested in a hazing incident. It's where he is accused of assaulting a pledge. Police say those alleged incidents happened at an off-campus residence. Vallejo is also facing similar charges in a separate case that did happen on campus. The university is saying that they take a zero-tolerance approach to behaviors that endanger others and is committed to providing safe, healthy, and respectful environments.
Bristol firefighters responding to a fire on Corey Lane this morning. Officials saying it was a second alarm fire at a home, and Wolcott crews also responded to help firefighters. The flames were knocked down in about 15 minutes. No injuries were reported, and the cause of that fire is under investigation. Now, the 2024 legislative session is now officially over, and the governor's already signing some bills into law. Fox
61's political reporter Emma Wolfhorst has a wrap on this year's short session.
Fresh off some tension from not opening the state budget and the Federal American Rescue Plan Act spending plan passed Tuesday, lawmakers were ready to run out the clock until midnight.
The time for us to do our work has ended. And with that, I move we adjourn sine die.
So ordered, sine die.
Hundreds of bills were still waiting for action Wednesday night. In the last 20 minutes of session, the House got through more than 20 pieces of legislation, moving so quickly the House chambers filled with the sound of nonstop voting bells. Upstairs, though, the Senate was a very different picture. Senators took up one of the biggest, most ambiguous bills with less than an hour to go, causing a lot of debate.
I don't know any other way to describe it. It's just nuts.
There were conversations this measure would go toward temporary benefits for striking workers. Senate President Martin Looney called that a great idea, but the legislation would only actually create a $3 million account for the state comptroller's office. This money is technically earmarked for low-income worker assistance, which lawmakers and the governor agreed felt vague.
I don't support it. If you want to have public dollars to support striking workers, have a vote up or down. I want public dollars to go support striking workers. That was not the bill that I think came out of there, and so let's just say I'm very skeptical.
Overall, though, Lamont's saying he thought this was a productive session. But many big bills were left on the cutting room floor. A veto threat from the governor causing the AI regulations package to die, while lawmakers didn't get to the omnibus climate bill, one of Lamont's biggest priorities.
You know, the environment is obviously more of a priority for me than it is certainly for the Republicans in the legislature and even many of the Democrats. It's a nice to do, but not as big a priority as I think it should be.
The problem with climate bills is the planet is burning, and we don't have even a year to waste. And while I'm sad that it didn't happen this year, it's far from over.
Before lawmakers gavelled out Wednesday, conversations were already being had about what to prioritize next year. Reporting at the state capitol, Emma Wolforst, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Emma, thank you. Time now for a check on the weather. Keep your rain boots out. We are not done yet with that wet weather.
Or the wet weather's not done with us. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frayne joining us now with a look. Rach?
Yeah, we didn't choose this life. The wet life chose us. I love that. Yeah, we're also talking about cooler temperatures in the days ahead. And while we do have several chances for rain in the forecast, I think the wettest time period will actually be overnight into early tomorrow morning. Right now, we're looking at temperatures in the mid to upper 60s, and you'll see the clouds have really filled in, but it was a bright, sunny start to the day. It began quite glorious, and there's still a couple of breaks in the overcast and a little bit of blue showing in Hartford. 67 right now in Meriden. We're in the middle 60s in Norwich, and the cool spot is Groton at 58 degrees. We are still dry. We're watching showers, though, approaching from the west, and those will continue to fill in, especially through the overnight hours. So if you're heading out over the next couple of hours or so and you want to take advantage, I would say go right ahead. Most of the steady rain is going to hold off until around or after the news at 11. And it will be wet to start off the day tomorrow. That's the wettest time period, is early in the morning. And there could be an isolated shower in the afternoon, especially in southern Connecticut and towards the shoreline. But we do generally try to dry things out a little bit, with highs only in the 50s to near 60. So it will be cooler even if it's not a washout. We'll talk about what that means heading into the weekend coming up.
All right, Rachel, thank you. New tonight, a new initiative in the Elm City looks to improve pedestrian safety. City leaders announcing a nearly $700,000 investment in improvements in the West Rock community. Phase 1 was just completed, providing new speed humps, signs, and a safer bus stop. The next phase of the project will include new sidewalks and a new pedestrian bridge. Officials saying the project will enhance walkability for students and residents in the area.
Every class comes down here for a school field trip. All those students will be able to walk to those field trips to visit our farm animals. We have 24 students who live in the housing projects right up the street. They will be able to walk safely to school.
Because it's rural and things are a little bit farther apart, there hasn't been in the past as much justification for the sidewalks and other pedestrian infrastructure.
Members of the nearby Common Ground High School community and the West Rock community have long advocated for improvements to the streets of Wintergreen Avenue, Springside Avenue, and Wilmot Road, where there is a history of speeding vehicles.
Connecticut ranks third among the 50 states for health care. This according to a new report by U.S. News. Here's a look at why our state impressed the critics.
Connecticut named third in the nation for states with the best health care. The U.S. News report highlighted the Constitution state for its wide-reaching access to patient medical services, right behind Hawaii and Massachusetts.
I think that the expectation is that they're going to get some of the best health care that's offered in America. And that they're going to find really compassionate, competent caregivers.
Connecticut also recognized for beating the national average by multiple public health measurements, with just 7% of the state population without health insurance compared to 11% nationally, and an obesity rate of 30% compared to the U.S. average of nearly 34%.
Our commitment is to building a healthier Connecticut, and it's also a commitment by policymakers to say, we have a role here to play to make sure that people are insured, that people don't feel like they can't go access the care that they need. So it really says we are all working together to support good health.
With a focus on preventative health care and building a robust workforce in the years ahead.
Really taking care of chronic conditions so that we can keep as many people out of the hospital as possible. And that great quality of life starts with really good health.
While Connecticut leads the U.S. in healthcare, it trails almost all the states in fiscal stability and opportunity, with Wyoming and Vermont topping the list in those categories.